A multimillionaire has been charged with murder. Robert Durst made his money the old-fashioned way. He inherited it. But now he's behind bars. Many are saying it was the new HBO documentary that helped land him there, with what sounds like a confession, recorded in the strangest of places. Robert Durst's long, often bizarre walk to justice resumed today outside a New Orleans court. Some of the most potentially damning evidence against him this time, his own words.
Did not tell the whole truth. Nobody tells the whole truth.
Words parceled out during the 6-part HBO documentary, The Jinx, which chronicled his more than 30-year legal odyssey. From heir to a billion-dollar New York real estate fortune, to a suspect in not one, but 3 killings. Today's court appearance connected to murder number 2, a charge of first-degree murder. His apparent undoing, a shocking revelation in last night's final episode.
So obviously I want to ask you about the cadaver note.
Durst was confronted with a new piece of evidence from filmmaker Andrew Jarecki. But what may be the most incriminating moment was still to come.
I am going to go use the restroom, which is right
On a trip to the bathroom, Durst's microphone was still recording when he made what appears to be a muttered confession.
What the hell did I do? Kill them all. Of course.
Jarecki on GMA this morning reacting to the find.
It was so chilling to hear it. It was disturbing to hear it. It makes you very uncomfortable to hear it.
An explosive turn in a dark and twisted tale that gripped the public's imagination since 1982, ever since his first wife, Kathleen, a medical student, mysteriously vanished. He was never charged in her disappearance, but allegations of domestic abuse fueled rumors that he was involved. Friends said Kathleen was afraid of her husband.
Oftentimes, she would ask me to stay with her at her apartment because she was in fear. She didn't know what was going to happen next.
But she never filed a complaint against him.
Did you have anything to do with the death of your wife?
I don't know that she's dead.
Do you think that it's possible that she's alive now?
It's possible. Not likely.
The case went cold, but in 2000, New York State authorities renewed their focus on Durst in connection with Kathleen's disappearance.
I began the investigation and started looking to talk to all of the people who knew Robert Durst at the time in 1982 when she went missing.
And then a second mystery. This time, his good friend and spokesperson, Susan Berman, found murdered in her California home.
I felt terrible for Susan. I was astonished that they were putting all this together, that I did it or I caused it to be done.
Berman, who was scheduled to tell authorities what she knew about the case.
Durst was sending Susan Berman money, $50,000. Why would he send her that much money at or about the time that we're looking to talk to her? Could it be to shut her up? Could it be to convince her not to say the truth?
Once again, Durst evaded formal charges. In an attempt to escape the negative attention, Durst fled to Texas, disguising himself as a woman. Then, a year later, another gruesome discovery. A fisherman in Galveston Bay finds a garbage bag washed up on shore.
I was just shocked to see that there was just a torso, no head, no legs, no arm.
Later, the corpse's arms and legs were found, the head still missing. The victim, 71-year-old Morris Black, Robert Durst's neighbor. Durst was arrested, but not knowing he had access to millions, authorities set his bail at $250,000. He was quickly wired the money. Then, in another questionable move, he fled.
Oh, goodbye $250,000, goodbye jail, I'm out.
Over a month later, he was captured in a small Pennsylvania town,
where he was caught stealing a hoagie sandwich, a $7 hoagie sandwich.
At his murder trial, Durst admitted to killing Morris Black and dismembering the body, but claimed it was self-defense.
He admitted to a killing in Texas. He didn't admit to a murder in Texas.
With the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
He was acquitted of murder, but was sentenced to 5 years in jail for evidence tampering and bond jumping. Durst was paroled in 2005 and lived mostly out of the public eye.
You marry me?
Until 2010, when Jarecki made this feature film, All the Good Things, starring Ryan Gosling as a fictionalized version of Robert Durst.
I remember saying to my partner, I would like to make a movie that Robert Durst himself could sit and watch and have an emotional reaction to.
Durst did watch and contacted Jarecki with an irresistible proposition, despite his lawyer's advice.
An interview is a big risk for you.
In the process of investigating their documentary, Jarecki and his team obtained a blockbuster piece of evidence from Susan Berman's stepson, who was friendly with Durst at the time.
It was clear enough that I might be dancing with the devil.
A letter, he says, was sent from Durst to Berman several months before her murder. The handwriting appears eerily similar to an anonymous note sent to police alerting them to search for Berman's cadaver, a letter authorities say only the killer could have written.
What does that say to you?
Well, I mean, the writing looks similar and the spelling is the same, so I can see the conclusion the cops would draw, or the writing exemplar person would conclude they were both written by the same person.
So, I guess the question is, did you write the cadaver note?
No, I didn't write the cadaver note.
Then that shocking solitary confession.
There it is. You're caught.
You have this bathroom confession, you have the writing samples. Which is more significant?
The confession is splashier, but I think that the writing, the letter, may be a stronger piece of evidence.
There's been a lot of talk of the documentary makers that it seems like they had evidence that they didn't provide to police early enough.
Andrew Jarecki and his team say that they gave the police this evidence months ago. It has to make you ask, well then, how could they have not arrested him earlier?
The LAPD released a statement saying that based on the evidence investigators had, the arrest was made. The decision was not based on the HBO series. And they said an anonymous tip from a viewer led them to this New Orleans hotel where Durst was holed up and armed under an alias. But his defense team, who appeared in court today, aren't buying the timing was just a coincidence.
It's pretty slick. You probably get him an Emmy. But it's very misleading, too.
Were there any kinds of deals over the timing of the arrest?
No, of course not. I mean, we don't have that kind of power. We're not in charge of the arrest timing, and we had no idea of the arrest timing.
The defense is going to try to put Andrew Jarecki, his team, and the LAPD on trial. And they're going to say they were working together to try to bring down Robert Durst.
In effort to discredit the evidence that's already brought him down in the court of public opinion.